Imagine a parking space that costs 167,000 US dollars. It is just a simple concrete spot. Other parking spots have sold for over $1 million. This shows the strange world of Hong Kong real estate. Small apartments, about 400 square feet, also cost millions. This is very unusual because Hong Kong has a lot of empty land. Miles of untouched nature are close to these expensive city areas. 75% of the city's land is not built on. Wild animals like boars and monkeys live there. So there is clearly much land available. However, the government owns all the land in Hong Kong. It only allows building on a small part of it, about 25%. The government does this to make land prices very high. Each year, it sells only a tiny piece of this land. It sells to the person or company that offers the most money. For example, last year, only a very small area, like 0.013 square miles, was sold. This was the only new land for over 7 million people. This small piece of land sold for almost $1 billion US dollars, which all went to the government. This way, the government makes a lot of money. It controls the land supply in a city where space is very limited. This makes the system very profitable. But why does Hong Kong choose to build its city like this? Why does it create such high prices for homes and parking spots when so much land is empty nearby? This book will explain how this unique system works and its effects on the city. 2. How Hong Kong makes money. Hong Kong's unique way of making money starts with its land. The government owns nearly every piece of land in the city. A large part of Hong Kong, about 3/4, is kept empty, filled with nature. Only about 1/4 of the land is made available for buildings. This is key to how Hong Kong earns its income. The government keeps land supply small to make land very valuable, ensuring high prices and profits. Each year, the government sells only a very small section of this unused land. These small pieces are offered at public auctions, with companies bidding extremely high prices. For example, in one recent year, less than 0.02 square miles of land was sold. This tiny amount, for a city of over 7 million people, brought in almost $1 billion US dollars. All this money goes straight to the government. This method allows the government to create huge amounts of money simply by selling land it controls. Being the sole owner of land in such a popular and small city is very profitable. Because the government gets so much money from land sales, it does not need to charge its people high taxes. Hong Kong has some of the lowest tax rates in the world. The highest income tax rate is just 16%, much lower than in many other countries. An average person pays even less, around 2%. There are also no sales tax, no taxes on investment profits, and no inheritance tax. This makes Hong Kong very attractive for businesses and individuals seeking low tax burdens. This system provides many good things for the city. Despite the very low taxes, Hong Kong offers world-class public services. Its public transport, including train and bus systems, is efficient and modern, like in Japan or Europe. The city also has excellent universities and a high standard of healthcare. You get these top-level services for tax rates often found in places with few public services. This combination of low taxes and great services is very appealing. Many skilled professionals move their families to Hong Kong, finding a high quality of life that is hard to match elsewhere. This economic model makes Hong Kong truly unique. 3. The money from China. The government in Hong Kong makes a lot of money by selling small pieces of land for very high prices. But for this system to work, someone needs to buy these expensive properties. Local people could not afford them. Even people from other countries living in Hong Kong, called expats, were not enough to buy all the land. The city needed a big group of buyers. Luckily, a huge source of money was nearby, in mainland China. In the 1980s, the Chinese government started to change its economy. This allowed many people in China to become very rich. Between the years 2000 and 2018, hundreds of new billionaires and many more millionaires appeared in China. However, these rich Chinese people felt worried about their money. They learned that the Chinese government might let them get rich, but it did not promise they could stay rich. If their money stayed in mainland China, the government could take it back at any time. For example, a big industry that taught students was suddenly closed by the government in 2021. Also, some very rich people even disappeared for speaking against the government. This showed that wealth was not safe in China. So, these rich Chinese business people looked for a safe place for their money. They wanted a place with clear, fair rules and independent courts. They wanted a place where private property was respected. Hong Kong was perfect for this. It had these things: good laws, fair courts, and respect for private property. It also had very low taxes and a strong property market. Plus, it was very close to mainland China, and many people spoke the same language. It was an ideal match. Rich Chinese people found a safe place to put their money outside of mainland China. At the same time, Hong Kong became very wealthy from selling its valuable land. This flow of money from China was a key part of Hong Kong's economic success. 4. A special place. Hong Kong was a very special place. Its political situation was unique. Many cities have both freedom and democracy. Others have neither. Hong Kong was different. It had freedom, but no democracy. Its leaders were not chosen by the people. During British rule, London chose the governor. After the year 1997, Beijing chose the chief executive. This lack of democracy was key for Hong Kong's economic model to succeed. If Hong Kong had been a democracy, people would have pressed their leaders to solve the housing crisis. They would want more affordable homes. To do this, the government would need to sell much more land. If more land was sold, land prices would drop. Then the government would lose its main income source. The whole system would fail. Yet, Hong Kong offered many freedoms, even without democracy. Money, ideas, and people moved in and out almost freely. There were no strict internet controls, unlike in mainland China. Professors had academic freedom. Money could move easily. Companies trusted Hong Kong's courts to be fair and independent. This trust was vital to attract investors. Especially rich people from mainland China wanted a safe place for their money. They sought to escape the Chinese government's power. Hong Kong's freedoms offered this security. Without these freedoms, investors would just take their money elsewhere. This rare mix of freedom without democracy made Hong Kong a truly one-of-a-kind city. It was unlike almost any other place in the world. This unique blend supported its special way of life and strong economy for a long time. 5. A city of opposites. Hong Kong looks very special because of its unique economic system. The city shows strong opposites everywhere you look. Most of the land, about 3/4 of it, is untouched nature. Here you can find wild boars, snakes, and monkeys living freely in green forests and mountains. But the other 1/4 of the city is built up incredibly densely, filled with people and buildings. This built-up part of Hong Kong has more tall buildings, called skyscrapers, than many other large cities in the world combined, like New York or Chicago. It truly feels like a real urban jungle. You can see very modern, high-rise buildings standing right next to lush green mountains and deep valleys. This visual difference is quite amazing and can take your breath away. One of the good things about this design is the amazing views. From a tall apartment or a viewpoint, you can see both the vibrant city and beautiful natural landscapes at the same time. It is easy to go from a busy city street to a quiet hiking trail in just 20 minutes. Hong Kong has great public transport that takes people to clean beaches and peaceful mountains easily. It is not strange to see wild animals, like boars, sometimes appearing near train stations or busy roads. This shows how close nature is to city life, making the term urban jungle very literal. However, this special way of building also causes problems for many local people. Because usable land is so limited and expensive, most apartments are very small. For example, a home for 2 middle-class people might be only about 300 square feet. This is a tiny space for all of life's needs, including cooking, doing laundry, and sleeping. Many locals have to live in these small, costly apartments. Some people even call them coffin-sized homes, showing how little space they have. This happens while large parts of the city remain green and empty for nature. This contrast highlights a difficult side of Hong Kong's unique way of life. While visitors enjoy beautiful views and quick access to nature, many residents struggle with extremely cramped and expensive living conditions. The city is a place of extreme beauty and tough realities, all thanks to its one-of-a-kind economic and land policies. 6. The protests and the new law. In 2019, many people in Hong Kong began to protest. They were worried about a new proposed law. This law would allow people to be sent to mainland China for trials. Hong Kong residents felt this change would take away their special freedoms. Millions of people, about 2 out of 7 million residents, marched in the streets. They showed their strong feelings against the bill. The protests grew bigger and changed into a wider movement. People wanted more democracy for their city. These large protests continued almost every weekend for nearly 1 year, showing great determination. Then, the world faced a big health crisis, a pandemic. While everyone was focused on this, Beijing, the capital of China, acted. It introduced a new law in Hong Kong. This was called the National Security Law. It was put in place without any votes from Hong Kong citizens. This new law made certain actions illegal. These included what it called secession, subversion, terrorism, and collusion. These words describe actions like trying to separate from China, working to upset the government, causing violence, or secretly helping foreign powers. The law's definitions were not always clear. Officially, Hong Kong still had its own separate passport, money, and legal system. Its courts were still seen as fair by many, with some foreign judges working there. But the National Security Law created a second, different court system. This new system was controlled by Beijing. In this new court system, judges were chosen by the government, not by an independent process. Trials could be held in secret, away from public view. Police also did not always need special papers to search homes or seize things. Simple acts, like reading a certain newspaper or wearing a particular color shirt, could be called crimes against national security. This meant that Beijing could control almost any person, company, or bank account in Hong Kong. With this, many of the city's freedoms ended, and Hong Kong started to look more like mainland China. 7. The economy now. The new national security law brought big changes. Before, many rich people from mainland China brought their money to Hong Kong. They felt it was a safe place. Hong Kong had fair courts and free movement of money. It was different from the mainland. But now, with the new law, this has changed. Hong Kong looks more like mainland China. It is no longer seen as a special, safe place for money. Why would rich people bring their money here if it is not safer than other places? They can choose cities like Singapore or London instead. This change has led to other problems. Many smart and educated people are leaving Hong Kong. These are families who earn good money and speak English. They are moving to countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, or Australia. This is called a brain drain. The city is losing its best and brightest people who are important for its future. With fewer people wanting to live or invest in Hong Kong, the property market has gone down. Demand for homes and land is much lower. For example, a very expensive house that cost $77 million recently sold for 60% less. This shows how much prices have fallen. Also, the government makes less money from selling land. Land sales were very low last year, the lowest in many years. There were even times when nobody wanted to buy land at the minimum price. 2 land auctions had to stop because of this. In the past, selling land paid for 1/3 or 1/3 of the city's budget. It was the government's main way to get money. But now, land sales give very little money to the government. Hong Kong has been spending more money than it earns for most of the last 5 years. This means the government is losing its main source of income. This creates a big problem for the city's future. 8. The future of Hong Kong. Hong Kong now faces very hard choices. The city is running out of money. For almost 5 years, it has spent more than it earns. This is a big problem because land sales, which were a huge source of income, are now very low. The government used to get 1/3 of its entire budget from selling land. But today, the money from land sales is much less. To fix this financial problem, Hong Kong must do one of 2 difficult things. First, it could cut its important public services. This would mean less money for its world-class public transport, good hospitals, and universities. These services are well known globally for their quality. Second, the government could make people pay more taxes. Hong Kong is known for its very low tax rates, which attract businesses and rich people. If taxes go up, the city will lose this special financial advantage. Either of these choices will make Hong Kong less unique and special. If public services become worse, the city will not be as good for people to live in or for companies. If taxes go up, it will not be as attractive for investors and wealthy people to keep their money there. The unique things that made Hong Kong stand out are slowly disappearing. Many people who care deeply about Hong Kong worry about this future. They fear that the city is sadly becoming more like any other large city in the world. It is losing its special mix of freedom, strong rule of law, and a thriving economy that made it truly one of a kind. This big change means Hong Kong is becoming very different from the vibrant, unique place it once was. What do you think will happen to Hong Kong in the future?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.